credit cards are an important financial tool that most people will be exposed to during their lives. Like many tools, they can be dangerous without the proper training, but when used correctly, they can be extremely useful. Today, I want to teach you how credit cards work so you can be an informed and responsible credit card owner. Let's define some of the key terms used by credit card companies that will be important to understand. Credit cards are a monthly revolving credit line with a creditor that allow you to borrow and spend up to a predefined amount called your credit limit. Every month on the same calendar day, you'll start a new billing cycle, which will record all the transactions to be billed to you during that time period. Several days after the end of your billing cycle, you'll receive a statement, which will include every transaction made during your previous billing cycle. This statement is essentially the bill of what you owe the credit card company as of the end of that billing cycle. The statement will include a due date, which is generally 20 to 25 days after the end of your billing cycle. The period between the end of the billing cycle and the due date is called your grace period. The grace period is the time you have to pay this statement balance before it starts to accumulate interest. If you check your credit card statement online, you'll also see an outstanding balance number, which is the total unpaid balance on your card as of today, regardless of when your billing cycle ends or when payment is due. Your statement will include 3 payment options: minimum payment, statement balance, and any amount. If you choose to pay anything less than the statement balance, you will immediately start to rack up interest charges. The interest rate charged by your credit card is called the APR. That stands for annual percentage rate. If you choose to pay less than the minimum payment, then you will likely be charged a late fee, and it may be reported on your credit report as a missed payment 30 days later. Most people who get in trouble with credit cards do so by choosing to make minimum payments rather than paying the entire statement balance. If you always pay the entire statement balance before the due date, then you'll never pay a penny of interest, and you can enjoy the benefits of credit cards largely for free. If you make minimum payments or even pay a single dollar less than the entire statement balance, then your grace period will be forfeit and you'll be immediately hammered by interest charges. Let's take a look at 2 example credit card owners with identical credit cards, credit limits, and spending habits, but different payment approaches. Let's assume they both have a $1,000 credit limit, spend $500 a month, and have 18.5% APR, which is about the national average right now. The only difference is that Jen pays the full statement balance every month, while John always makes the minimum payment only. If they both spent $500 per month for 12 months starting on January 1st, Jen would pay $0 in interest and have the full $6,000 paid off by the end of the year. John would pay back the $6,000 originally spent, plus over $18,000 in interest over the course of the next 46 years before his credit card would be paid off. This illustrates the dangers of credit cards for those who choose to make minimum payments. The key to smart credit card usage is to keep your spending under control so that you can always pay the full statement balance every month. But what if you pay something less than the statement balance but more than the minimum payment? How bad could it be? Let's assume we convince John to pay $499 per month instead of the minimum payment. Let's also assume that his monthly spend of $500 is spread relatively evenly throughout the month, as something like $16 per day. His first billing cycle will end on January 31st. He'll receive his statement on February 4th, saying that he owes $500 with a due date of February 25th. If he sends in a payment for $499 on February 25th, he immediately loses his grace period for current and future billing cycles since he paid less than the statement balance. So what does that mean? Suddenly, he owes interest not only on the $1 of unpaid January statement, but also for the $16 he spent February 1st, the $16 he spent February 2nd, the $16 he spent February 3rd, so on and so forth. Now that his grace period is gone, all purchases will start to cost him interest immediately from the day the purchase is made. Meanwhile, Jen is still enjoying the grace period and paying 0 interest because she paid just $1 per month more in order to meet the full statement balance. If you carry this $499 monthly payment out for the full 12 months like before, John would end up paying $48 in interest this year. That may not sound like a lot, but remember that he's only underpaying his statement balance by $1 per month. Again, it's worth reiterating the importance of always paying your statement balance in full every single month in order to use credit cards in a financially responsible way. So why risk getting a credit card at all? The most compelling reason to get a credit card is to build up your credit score, which is critical for your ability to do things like buying a car, renting an apartment, getting a mortgage. If you want to learn more about credit scores in detail, you can check out my video on the topic here. The second reason is that credit cards offer some nice rewards that you can take advantage of, such as cash back or airline miles, various point systems. If you're able to manage your spend, then getting rewards in exchange for normal daily purchases is a nice perk. The third benefits to credit cards is fraud security. Unlike cash, if you lose your card and report it, then if someone uses your credit card, you won't be liable for paying for any of those fraudulent charges. It's surprisingly simple to dispute fraudulent charges on your card, and the credit card companies guarantee you won't be held responsible for those charges. There's a lot more I want to cover about credit cards, such as the evaluation and application process, as well as how to set yourself up to avoid any of these late payments. I've decided to split this video into 2 parts to give ample time for these other topics. Stay tuned for my next video where we'll continue our deep dive into credit cards.